Okay, V'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. We are on Daf Chaf Daled. Top of the line says, Kol L'Natriut Fei Adif. In the final analysis, we are allowed to have the tefillin under our pillow, and even when you cohabit with your wife, because it's more secure, even though it's a minor disgrace to it. And how exactly should you place it? Vehechi maniach lehu. Second line of the Gemara. Amar Rav Yirmiyah ben kar lekeset shelo keneged rosho. You put it between the pillow and the mattress, under your, not directly under your head. It says if you put it in its bag, you're allowed to put it directly under your head. Gemara says the mafikli the mursha de kova labar. Still, even if you put it in the tefillin bag, the tip of the tefillin, the top of the tefillin that's protruding, that you would still put it away from your head. So you shouldn't be directly under your head. Bar kapara sarlu bekilta. Umafik lemorshan labar. He would wrap around it, around the curtain of the bed, and he would put the tip of the tefillin towards the outside, not towards the bed. Rav Sheisha would beret the Rav Idi malachlu ashapurta v'paris sudra leyu. He would put it at the stool of the bed, and then put a handkerchief and covering over the tefillin. Amar Rav Habnuna B'rei Rav Yosef Zimna Chada V'Kamina Kamei Rava. Rav Habnuna said, one time I was in front of my teacher Rava. V'amar li zil aiti li tefillin v'ashkechu bein kar lekeset shelo keneged rosha. I went to fetch and get the tefillin for him, and I found it between the mattress and the pillow, not under his head. V'have yadina de yom tevila havin. I knew it was his wife's night, mikveh night, and the night before he had cohabited with me, his wife. So why did he send me to do this? La'agmer and halacha lamaise. He wanted to tell me that the practical halacha, which is in fact in the Shulchan Aruch, that if you keep your tefillin somewhere else, so that's actually the halacha as recorded in the Shulchan Aruch, that if your tefillin is going to get vandalized, you could keep it under your pillow, not precisely where your head rests. And that's what Rava wanted to teach his students. Hu da'avid. That's why he did such a thing. Ba'amine Rav Yosef Rav Nechunim Rav Yehuda Shnayim sheyesh nim b'mita achas ma'u shezeh yachzer panav v'yikra kriyat shema v'zeh yachzer panav v'yikra kriyat shema. In the olden days, people would not wear pajamas; they were naked. So, if two people are under the sheets, can each one face the opposite way of his friend, like towards the wall, and say Shema? Or we know there's a halacha v'haya machanecha kadosh. We're not allowed to say God's name and pray and say Shema wherever that smells bad, like we said in the previous daf, or wherever there's nudity. So the Gemara says Ha'ala Amar le'achamar Shmuel v'afilu ishto imo. It's okay if two men, and for even if your wife it's not a problem as long as you're facing the opposite way of each other. You could say Shema, even though they have no clothing on under the covers. Gemara says, Matkif la Rav Yosef ishto velo mibayacher. He says, Shemuel says, even in your wife, and for sure another male is not a problem to say Shema in such a form. Adarabba, ishto kegufa, maybe only your wife you're allowed to, because you're used to her and your wife is like you. Acher lav kegufa, but another person, it's not appropriate to say Shema in such a fashion. You have to put a barrier between you and him, or you need to go get clothed. Wide lines, the Gemara says, Meitveh shnaim shi yeshnim b'mita achad ze machser panav v'koyre v'ze machser panav v'koyre. The Mishnah said, the Braita says, if two people are no pajamas under the cover, they have to face the opposite way of each other. And another Braita says, V'tanya achrita yasham b'mita u'banav u'bnei beito b'sido harizol yikra kriyat shema. Another Braita says, if your family, wife and kids are in the same bed as you and they have no pajamas under them, you're not allowed to say Shema because it's inappropriate. Ella imken iti talit mafsikat benem, unless there's a towel or some type of fabric separating between you and them. V'im hayu b'nei beto banav u'bnei beto ktanim, if your children and are minors, then it's permissible, mutar. So the Gemara says, Ze machzir panav. So Gemara says, Bishleim al Rav Yosef lo kasha b'ishto ha'acher. The one that says it's permitted with no barrier is your wife. The other one that says you have to put a fabric, a sheet in between you and your family members, those are other people. It's another man. Ella l'shmuel kashi, according to Shmuel, what's the difference? He says never you need to put a barrier between you and the other person. Amar lach Shmuel, Rav Yosef, minicha, is it perfect according to Rav Yosef? V'atanya, but we learned. Haya yashan b'mita v'anav u'bnei beito b'mita lo yikra kriyat shema ken hayter tolet mafsiket behem. There's another brayso that says your wife, which is included in bnei beito, if their household members, including your wife, have no clothing, no pajamas, and they're under the covers, you cannot say Shema unless you put a barrier in between you and them. Even according to Rav Yosef, that would be permissible. Elamai, what do you have to say? Edlach lemeimar, ishtol Rav Yosef tanaihi. Even your wife, some opinions hold there has to be a barrier. Lididi nami tanai. According to me also, it's a machloket tanaim. Bottom line, the Shulchan Aruch says, b'diavad, your wife, you're allowed to say it with her if you turn the other way and say Shema, but it's even with your wife, it's better to put the sheet around you and not be touching her while you say Shema, and put a barrier between you. Amar Mar, Ze machsir panav v'koreh kriyat Shema. Gemara says if they face the other opposite of each other, but there's still a problem that their buttocks are touching. Vaha eka agavot, their behinds are touching, and that's inappropriate. Gemara says this is actually a proof to the opinion of Rav Huna. Messiah leila Rav Huna, damar Rav Huna agavot en ba mishureva. There's no problem of nudity with the buttocks. That's why here, as long as they're not facing each other, it's not a problem. So let's bring a braita as a proof to Rav Huna. Lema Messiah Rav Huna. Haisha yesheva v'kotzela chalata ruma mipni shecholech usot panei karka. A woman is allowed to separate chala and say a blessing even though she's naked, as long because her private part, she hides that in the dirt and it's not visible. But a man cannot do such a thing. Aval lo ha'ish. Why is that? So it must prove that even though the buttocks is revealed, that's not considered nudity. So the Gemara says, no, there's no conclusion from here. Targama Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak egon shaya paneh tuchot bekarka. No, she's sitting in like a soft, sandy earth that she's level. Both her behind and her private part are flush with the ground, and it's not visible. So it could be that if somebody's behind is visible, it's considered he's nude and he can't make a bracha. So from here we cannot make a conclusion. Amar mar, if your children are minors, you are allowed to say Shema with them if none of you have pajamas under the bed covers. Ad kam, until when are you considered a minor? Amar Rav Chisda tinoket bat shalosh shanim v'yom echad v'tinok ben tisha shanim v'yom echad. A girl is 3 and 1 day. A boy is 9 and 1 day. But the halacha follows the second opinion. Tinoket bat yud aleph shana v'yom echad v'tinok ben 12 shana v'yom echad. A boy is 12 and a day, a girl 11 and a day. Idi v'idi ad kedei shedayim nechochot v'tzarech samech. And they both have to, they're only considered regarding this halacha as an adult once they get to 11 and 12 respectively, if they have signs of puberty. But if they don't, the Shulchan Aruch says even after 12 for a boy or 11 for a girl, they still will not have a problem of erva unless, regarding this specific halacha, unless they actually turn bar and bar mitzvah, then it doesn't matter. Even if they don't have pubic hairs or show signs of puberty, it'd still be forbidden to say Shema, unless you put a barrier between you and them, your children. And we're moving right along. Amar le Rav Kana le Rav Ashi. Hatam amar Rav Afa gavtiv tishmol halacha kavate tishmol hachamai. Before we said regarding the tefillin, even though Shemuel was rejected, we follow halacha like him. What's the halacha here regarding this last case of the machloket he has with Rav Yosef regarding the buttocks? Is it considered that they have to turn away from each other, the people? So Gemara says, did we weave every cloth with one weaving? Which means it doesn't necessarily say, since one place we said halachas like Shmuel, always the halachas like Shmuel. Whenever the Gemara says the halachas like Shmuel, it is. In this last case regarding the turning your head aside from your friend, even if it isn't your wife, the halacha may not be like Shmuel. So Gemara says, Amar le Rav Marilar Papa, Shar hayotze bibigdo ma'u. What if pubic hair is visible to people because you have a hole in your clothing? Is that considered nudity and you can't say Shema next to it? Kara lea shar shar. The Gemara says no. If it's only a few hairs protruding because there's a small hole in the clothing of the person, it's not. You're still allowed to say Shema there because it's not considered like a nudity. Amar Rav Yitzchak tefach beisha erva. A woman, wherever part of her body that normal women, modest women in that society cover, if a woman reveals a hand breadth, a fist of that area, it's considered nudity, and you're not allowed to say Shema or pray next to it if you're looking at such a thing. Gemara says, Lamai, what is this difference does it make? If it's to look at it, you're never allowed to look at a woman. Amar Rav Sheshet, Lama mania mana katov tashem shevchutzim tashem lefnim. Why does the Torah enumerate the outer adornments of a woman, clothing of a woman, with the personal underwear adornments. Lomar lecha kol hamistakel be'etzva ketana shel isha kilu mistakel b'makom hatoref. He comes to tell you that whoever looks even at the finger of a woman, if he's looking to gain pleasure from that area, it's like that she's looking at her private part. So you're never allowed to look at any part of a woman, even her pinky, if it's for pleasure. Ela be'ishto, it's talking about your wife. And this is the halacha. So if your wife is always covering your hair, you're not allowed to look at her hair and say Shema. If she's always covering her arms, and now her arms are like a tank top, it's forbidden to say Shema if she's in your line of sight. Amar Rav Chisda shok be'isha erva. The hip of a woman, the thighs of a woman are also nudity if they're revealed. Shenemar gale shok ivri naharot. We see that in the pasuk that Yeshaya says that they were being illicit by revealing their thighs by the river. Uktiv tagel ervatcha begam tireh cherpatcha. And it was disgraceful to do such a thing. Amar Shmuel kol be'isha erva. That it's a woman's voice singing, a woman hearing a woman sing is considered nudity. This is why men are not allowed to listen to female singers. The Rashba clearly says in the Tshuva it's only if the woman's singing. The voice of a woman is not considered immodest, non-modest. Okay, so if you look at the Rabbeinu Hananel on the previous daf, he says that since the Gemara lists all these, the thigh of a woman, if a woman is singing, or a woman's hair, a married woman that her hair is uncovered, even if it's your wife, if she's standing in front of you, you're not allowed to say Shema. You have to turn your face away from her, because this is all the halacha, and it's also in the Shulchan Aruch. How do we know the voice of a woman? A man is not allowed to hear the voice of a woman sing. Shenemar ki kolech arev marech naveh. He says that's a beautiful thing for a woman, her voice. In Shir HaShirim, Shlomo HaMelech says that. It says it's desirable. It's arousing for a man. Amar Rav Shet said, Sha'ar be'isha, Sa'ar be'isha irva. A married woman always has to cover her hair. That's why it's like nudity. That's why you're not allowed to say Shema by it. And this is the halacha, obviously. Shenemar, Sarech ke'eder ha'izim. It's like a beautiful wool of a goat. And therefore, it's not modest. It's distracting to a man to say Shema if such a beautiful hair of a woman is in front of him. Amar Rav Chanina, nudity at Rebbe shetalat tefillin. Rabbi Chanan says, I saw Rebbe hanging his tefillin on a peg. Meitvei, I'll ask you a contradiction to this. Hatolet tefillatav yitlu chayav. If you hang your tefillin, your life should be hung. It's a curse. It's a disgrace to a tefillin. Dorshech amrot amru v'ayech hayecha tolim neged edecha zeh tefillin. Like it says in the curses in Devarim, in Kitavo, if your life is hanging in front of you, this is a person that hangs his tefillin from the wraps, from the straps, and then it's on the verge of falling off the rod, and it curses such a person. So how could Rebbe do such a thing? Gemara says, Lo kasha, ha b'ritzua b'ketzitza. If you put your tefillin on top of the peg, the actual bayit, that's fine. And it's sturdy, it's not going to fall. The problem is it's disrespectful if you wrap the straps of the tefillin to the top of the peg, top of the rod, and then have the batim hanging down. Some say no, it doesn't matter. Any way you hang it, it's a problem. The only time Rebbe was hanging it, and this is the appropriate opinion to follow halachically, is that he hung his tefillin bag on a rod, not the actual tefillin. So what is it trying to say? Well, of course you're allowed to do that. That's not disrespectful. Just like you hang your coat or anything from a peg. Gemara says, no, I might think that you actually need to place it on a flat surface, like a Sefer Torah, because tefillin is similar to a Torah. It comes to teach you, no, that's not the case. Amar Rabbi Hanani, ani raiti et Rabbi shegiek v'piek v'nitashech. He said, I saw Rebbe that he burped, he yawned, and he sneezed. Verok, and he spit, umeshamish bebigdo, and he used his clothing to take off a mosquito or a bug that was biting him.